Neon lights painted the city skyline in hues of blue and purple. Flying cars hummed through the air, casting fleeting shadows on the towering structures below. This was Nova City, a testament to human ingenuity and a place of both wonder and curious silence. For in this world, communication had evolved, but at a cost. Every citizen was gifted with a single telepathic message they could send in their lifetime. One chance to make their thoughts known across any distance, to any person they chose. This last message, as it was known, was a precious commodity. It was a gift cherished by some, squandered by others. Children often used theirs in moments of excitement or anger, their words fading into the ether before they learned the weight of their singularity. Adults, however, lived with the burden of their unspoken message, weighing its worth against every passing moment. Lena was a woman who valued silence. In a world of limited expression, she found solace in observation. She worked as a data analyst, her days spent deciphering patterns in the endless stream of information that flowed through the city's networks. Her apartment, perched high above the bustling streets, was her sanctuary. It was a place of quiet contemplation, her one extravagance a large window overlooking the cityscape. She had seen firsthand the consequences of hasty messages. A childhood friend had used his to confess his love, only to have his heart broken when his feelings weren't reciprocated. Another colleague had wasted his on a trivial joke. The echo of laughter long faded into the awkward silence of their shared office. Lena, however, held on to her message, a silent promise tucked away in her heart. Elliot lived across the hall. He was an artist, his apartment a chaotic explosion of color and canvases. Lena often saw him in the elevator, his usually bright eyes dimmed with a sadness she couldn't decipher. Lately, his pain had become a tangible thing. She could hear his muffled sobs through the thin walls, the sounds a constant ache against her own silence. One evening the sounds escalated. A crash, followed by a choked cry, sent a chill down Lena's spine. She knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. Elliot was in trouble, and the only words she would ever speak were heavy on her tongue. Her single message, a lifeline in a world of silence, felt like both a burden and a responsibility. The weight of her unspoken message pressed upon her. She paced her apartment, her mind a battlefield of conflicting thoughts. What if her message wasn't enough? What if she regretted using it on someone she barely knew? But then she heard it again. A sob, raw and desperate, tore through the silence of her apartment. It was a plea for help, a sound that resonated with a deep empathy within her. Lena stopped pacing. She knew what she had to do. The decision once made filled her with a strange sense of peace. Closing her eyes, Lena focused on the familiar presence of her unspoken message. It felt like a warm ember nestled within her mind. She reached out, her intent clear, her voice a whisper in the vast network of consciousness. "You're not alone," she thought, sending the message across the hall, across the chasm of their shared silence. The silence that followed was immediate and absolute. The weight of her unspoken message, carried for so long, was gone. It left behind a strange hollowness, a sense of finality that was both terrifying and liberating. But amidst her own conflicting emotions, Lena felt a flicker of hope. Across the hall, Elliot sat up. His tears, still flowing, now carried a glimmer of something else. Hope. He wasn't alone. Someone, somewhere knew of his pain. The knowledge, arriving in the silence of his despair, was a lifeline in the darkness. Lena never knew what happened to Elliot after that night. They never spoke about her message, their interactions remaining those of polite nods and shared elevator rides. But something had shifted. The heavy sadness that had clung to him seemed to lift, replaced by a newfound resilience. And Lena, surrounded by the city's constant hum, finally understood the true value of a word, unspoken and cherished, offered in a moment of need.